Honored guests, please rise and welcome the doctoral graduates of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences for 2023. Graduates and honored guests, please welcome the Dean and faculty of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences.
Please be seated. Good evening, graduates and honored guests. I'm Chad Heap, Associate Dean for Graduate Studies in the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences. On behalf of the Dean and the faculty of the Columbian College, I'm delighted to welcome you to this doctoral hooding ceremony for the Columbian College in the 202nd year of the George Washington University. We congratulate all the doctoral graduates who are participating in this evening's hooding, and we join with you, their families and friends, to express our sincere pride in each of our graduates' achievements. In addition to hooding our doctoral graduates and celebrating their accomplishments this evening, we will also honor faculty excellence in the mentoring of doctoral students. But before we begin those presentations, I want to tell you how honored I am to be celebrating this joyous occasion with our candidates for the Doctor of Psychology and the Doctor of Philosophy. There's nothing more rewarding for me as a faculty member than being able to congratulate you at the conclusion of several long years of coursework, research, and writing. Given the conditions you've weathered during your doctoral studies, I'm sure those years have seemed even longer and more precarious than usual. We know that most of you were required to adapt your research, teaching, and clinical training in response to the recent pandemic. With little advance warning, you had to figure out how to meet with clients and to conduct recitations, discussion sections, and even laboratories online. With labs, archives, field sites, and clinics closed, you had to rethink your research questions and models. You moved in-person interviews and clinical sessions to Zoom and tried to figure out field work that could be conducted from inside your own home. You ordered books from Gelman Library by mail or curbside delivery, scoured the internet for digitized materials, pestered archivists to scan documents, and even perhaps purchased a few primary resources on eBay. To get access to campus labs while the university operated virtually, you subjected yourselves to daily symptom surveys and weekly nasal swabs, some of which likely brought tears to your eyes if you experienced the same technicians that I did. And at least during the earliest stages of your dissertation writing and clinical training, you undertook your research and studies in near isolation. Each of us who's written a dissertation or major area paper knows just how solitary that experience can be. But you and the couple cohorts of doctoral students that preceded you had a uniquely cloistered experience and often found yourselves reaching out to friends, family, and faculty advisors via FaceTime or Zoom in search of the social and intellectual community that's indispensable for doctoral studies. Many of those who provided the support you needed have joined us today to celebrate your achievements. Graduates, please join me in saluting the family, friends, and faculty mentors who've helped you make it to today's finish line. Graduates, let me conclude by encouraging you to set aside some time in the coming days or weeks to congratulate yourself on all you've achieved so far. Academic milestones come along so infrequently with the completion of degrees, the publication of articles or books, the start of new academic positions, postdoctoral fellowships, clinical training experiences, and jobs, that it's far too easy to move from one to the next without ever fully appreciating your achievements or acknowledging everything you've done to earn the title doctor. In my own case, graduating mid-year at the end of my first semester teaching here at GW, I decided I was too overwhelmed with grading to attend my hooding ceremony. And weeks later, after the start of the spring semester, I discovered that the bulky envelope buried in the pile of mail I hadn't opened was my doctoral diploma. By attending today's ceremony, you're a step ahead of me in taking the time to celebrate your achievements. But I want to encourage you to do something even more special for yourself in the coming days or weeks. Plan that trip you've been putting off for the past few years. Take that hike you've been dreaming about. Indulge yourself with an unexpected or even somewhat luxurious purchase, or simply but decisively change the honorific title on all your accounts and subscriptions to Doctor. Before your diploma ends up in a frame or at the bottom of a dresser drawer, which is where I think mine is now, congratulate yourself on a job well done, and think about how much more you can do if only you set your mind to it. Now I would like to introduce Evangeline Downey, Associate Dean for Research, who will present the Award for Excellence in the Mentoring of Doctoral Students.
The award for excellence in the mentoring of doctoral students is given to a faculty member nominated by the college's graduate students. The 2022-23 award is presented to Dr. Ilana Feldman, Professor of Anthropology, History, and International Affairs. Dr. Feldman joined the faculty of the George Washington University in 2007 and has previously served as the director of the PhD program in anthropology. Dr. Feldman's advisees in the Department of Anthropology praise her uninterrupted support during every phase of their doctoral studies. They note her instructive advising during coursework, her indispensable guidance as they apply for grants, her valuable direction and encouragement during their preparation for comprehensive exams, and her continued commitment when they engage in fieldwork and prepare for their dissertations. She always takes the time to rigorously and constructively assess my work, one student commented, and also takes seriously my professional growth in the department and beyond. Dr. Feldman's students are especially grateful for her attentiveness to the unique challenges associated with the pandemic and for her efforts to help them develop as scholars in ways that are healthy and sustainable. She brings integrity to her mentorship and role as a faculty advisor, one student observed. When she provides guidance, another student recalled, it's always productive and delivered with kindness, support, and generosity. Dr. Feldman is supportive in a way that's empowering, and she exemplifies the kind of person who helps her community and her university to thrive. Dr. Feldman, will you please come and accept your award?
It's now my pleasure to call upon the Dean of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences, Paul Walbeck, to deliver his charge to the graduating class. As the leader of the university's largest academic unit, Dean Walbeck is committed to expanding learning and research opportunities to ensure excellence and opportunity for all our students. Dean Walbeck, I'm pleased to present to you the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences doctoral graduates in the class of 2023.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Heap. It's an honor and privilege to be part of these special exercises to recognize the remarkable achievements of our class of 2023 doctoral candidates. I congratulate each and every one of you on a job well done. This hooding ceremony is emblematic of the passing of knowledge from one generation of doctors to the next. Your days of being a student are over. It's now your turn to confer knowledge and advance your field. The hood, worn by the doctor as part of the academic regalia, symbolizes the power of scholarship and its transformative force to improve the world. Although the hood began as a simple head covering or shoulder cape that was common to all classes and sexes, over the past 900 years, it's taken on academic significance. By the 15th century, in England at least, The hood came to be seen as a token of graduation and was given distinctive colors and lining. Initially, all university graduates, from the recipients of bachelor's degrees to doctorates, were awarded hoods. But in more recent times, universities have usually reserved this symbol for those who received the degree of master's or higher. Because doctoral programs demand the longest and most arduous courses of study and research, their hoods have grown in size and splendor to set them apart from other degrees. The lining of the doctoral hood displays the official color or colors of the university conferring the degree. The trim along the edge of the hood indicates the degree earned. All graduates with the Doctor of Philosophy degree receive hoods trimmed in dark blue, while graduates with the Doctor of Psychology degree wear hoods trimmed in gold, the color assigned to the field of psychology. Presentation of the doctoral hood represents that pivotal moment when the candidate's mentor and the university acknowledge your significant academic achievement and the commencement of the next chapter in your life. The power of knowledge can be transformative and life-changing. Your expertise, your empathy, your ability to think creatively and critically, to make evidence-based decisions, to analyze and reflect, to value diverse cross-cultural perspectives, these are skills you should not leave behind as you walk out these doors. Knowledge is your strength and should inform everything you do. As a recipient of a doctorate, you will continue to learn. Wear the badge of professional student with pride as you push the boundaries of knowledge and gain new insights. You came to GW to pursue your doctorate because you wanted to be part of something that was bigger than yourself. You wanted to make a difference, to work alongside top scholars and scientists, and be connected to the nation's top research organizations. Your education will lead to creative solutions that draw from a rich and vast array of knowledge. Stay true to that passion, and don't get sidetracked by a rejected manuscript or a negative review. We need your broad knowledge and your constructive collaboration, and maybe most importantly, your intellectual curiosity. We need all these things more than ever to help bridge differences, make new discoveries, change lives, and create positive change. And while you're graduating into a world that is seemingly rife with conflict and complexity, it's also one that is continually evolving and ripe for change. This is your time to be thoughtful, be informed, probe, ask questions, and allow your moral compass to lead you to an honest, engaged, and meaningful life. And don't gauge your success solely by your professional achievements, but by the quality of your life and how, through small kindnesses or even grand gestures, you are moving our global society forward. Tonight is a proud moment for all of us in this auditorium. Your faculty, your friends and family who are able to join us, this is a moment you will carry with you forever. We're cheering you on today, and we'll be cheering you on at commencement and in the weeks, months, and years to come. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you, Dean Walbeck. It's now our pleasure to introduce one by one the graduates whose achievements we celebrate today with the presentation of the doctoral hood. Let me begin with some instructions for our graduates and guests. As each doctoral candidate is introduced, they will be joined on stage by their faculty mentor or advocate who will assist the dean with the hooding. Graduates, once you've been hooded, the dean will congratulate you as you prefer. Simply extend your hand for a shake, stick out your elbow for a bump, or nod your head in cordial greeting. You'll then exit stage right, pausing for a professional photograph to be taken before returning to your seat. Guests, so that none of the names of our honorees get lost, we ask that you withhold your applause and good wishes until all the graduates have been presented, at which time we will join together to salute them all. We will introduce and hood the recipients of the Doctor of Psychology first, followed by the recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy. And now, as Dean Walbeck takes his place at the front of the stage, let me ask the doctoral candidates to come forward.
The candidates for the Doctorate of Psychology of the class of 2023. Adriana Abadi, hooded by Professor Karen Weiss. Muska Anwar, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Elizabeth Bagioni Brandt, hooded by Professor Catherine Marshall Woods. What's your name? Reston Bell, hooded by Professor Catherine Marshall Woods. Sarah Juliana Dubendorf, hooded by Professor Sarah Hedlund. Megan Graves, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Aida Gruden, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai and Professor Paul Gedo. Gabriela Iskin, hooded by Professor Sarah Hedlund. Kristen Joseph, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Pavni Khera, hooded by Professor Sarah Hedlund. Lingyue Lu, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Andelin Medina, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Hannah Navarro, hooded by Professor Helen Divini. Mariam Salim, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Katie Scopelliti, hooded by Professor Lara Shihai. Karen Van Winkle, hooded by Professor Loring Ingraham. Mengping Zhang, hooded by Professor Paul Gado. Divya Babar, hooded by Professor Helen Divini. Annika Balraj, hooded by Professor Robert Miller. Erin Bonner, hooded by Professor Javad Nazarian. Dana Burton, hooded by Professor Ilana Feldman. Haley Buttman, hooded by Professor Cynthia Dowd. The candidates for the Doctor of Philosophy of the class of 2023. Anthony Cade II, History, hooded by Professor Denver Brunsman. Joseph Cerrone, Political Science, hooded by Professor Henry Hale. Julie Chamberlain, American Studies, hooded by Professor Melanie McAllister. Sarah Chastain, Physics, hooded by Professor Alexander van der Horst. Ruoyu Chen, Economics, hooded by Professor Anthony Yeaser. Rebecca Clements, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor Keith Crandall. You look familiar. Jonah Kost, Economics, hooded by Professor Anthony Yeaser. Michael DiDomenico, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Dylan Conger. Ebad Ebadi, Economics, hooded by Professor Maggie Chen. Caitlin Garofano, Medical Sciences, is that right? Hooded by Professor Norman Lee. Danielle Gilmore, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Kathy Newcomer. Matthew Getz, History, hooded by Professor Denver Brunsman. Stephanie Gomez, Microbiology and Immunology, hooded by Professor Catherine Chiapinelli. María del Mar Gracia Hernández, Cancer Biology, hooded by Professor Alejandro Villagra. Zhongtian Han, History, headed by Professor Edward McCord. Nathaniel Harris, Economics, hooded by Professor Anthony Yeazer. Kelsey Hauser, Biology, hooded by Professor Leon Grafer. Casey Hearing, Psychology, hooded by Professor George Howe. Nicole Hedrick, Clinical Psychology, hooded by Professor George Howe. Alison Jones, Physics, hooded by Professors Sylvain Guiriec and Jeremy Perkins. Michael Johnson, History, hooded by Professor Tyler Anbinder. Mark Alexander Kaltenborn, Physics, hooded by Professor Chrisa Kuveliotou. Kristen Koker, Genomics, hooded by Professor Ljubica Galdovic. Leslie Kwan, Public Policy and Administration, hooded by Professor Eiko Strader. Debbie Ledesma, Microbiology and Immunology, hooded by Professor Rohan Fernandez. Dana Lewis, Neuroscience, hooded by Professor Zaid Khalik. Jonathan Lotempio Jr., Genomics, hooded by Professor Ljubica Kaldovic. Xiang Li, Statistics, hooded by Professor Qing Pan. Victoria Lockwood, Human Paleobiology, hooded by Professor Bernard Wood. Samuel Luxembourg, Statistics, hooded by Professor Rafik Sawyer. Emily McLeod, English, hooded by Professor Holly Dugan. Frances Annalyn Malari, Clinical Psychology, hooded by Professor Jody M. Ganiban. Andreas Myris, History, hooded by Professor Denver Brunsman. Rui Miao, Statistics, hooded by Professor Xiao Kezhang. Grant Mitchell, Physics, hooded by Professors Georgia Denolfo and Sylvain Guirec. Gabriel Montoya Vega, Mathematics, hooded by Professor Josef Perzutitsky. Gorkem Aydemir Kundakci, Anthropology, hooded by Professor Sarah Wagner. Sylvain Nyandwe, Human Paleobiology, hooded by Professor Brenda Bradley. what's your field? Biology. Okay. So you don't want the ospina. Okay. What's the field again? Santiago Meneses, biology, hooded by Professor Adam Smith. Rose Peterson, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor Patricia Hernandez. Zainab Quadri, American Studies, hooded by Professor Melanie McAllister. Jignasha Rana, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor Scott Powell. That's a long one. Daniel Ravid, Industrial and Organizational Psychology, hooded by Professor Tara Berend. Sarah Louise Richardson, Anthropology, hooded by Professor Sarah Wagner. Gabriel Royal, Public Policy, hooded by Professor Joseph Cordis. Rohail Salman, History, hooded by Professor Benjamin Hopkins. Madison Sampson Quijano, Public Policy, hooded by Professor Kathy Newcomer. Courtney Sexton, Human Paleobiology, hooded by Professor Brenda Bradley. Rien Spawn, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor John Lill. Nathaniel Sterrett, Genomics and Bioinformatics, hooded by Professor Keith Crandall. Gada Tafesh, Biological Sciences, hooded by Professor Ioannis Eleftherianos. Evie Vourlidis, Anthropology, hooded by Professor Sarah Wagner. Jialu Wang, Statistics, hooded by Professor Tapan Nayak. Yu Xia, Biostatistics, hooded by Professor Hua Liang. Wu Xue, Statistics, hooded by Professor Xiaoke Zhang. Xiao Yanyin, Biostatistics, hooded by Professor Scott Evans. Fengyu Zhao, Statistics, hooded by Professor Hua Liang. Mengqiu Zhu, Statistics, hooded by Professor Xiaoke Zhang. Congratulations to everyone. You did it.
Congratulations to all of the doctors that we've hooded today. Please be seated. On behalf of the Dean, I want to invite all of you to continue today's celebration at a reception following the close of this ceremony. Members of the college's graduate studies team will be located outside to assist you in making your way to the reception in Kogan Plaza adjacent to the auditorium. You probably don't need any help. You probably saw them setting up as you came in, but it's just around to the right. I'd like to also extend a sincere note of thanks to those of you who helped make today's special for all our graduates, including the staff in the Dean's Office and Lisner Auditorium, the Corcoran Brass, and especially Professor Roberto Samaniego, who introduced each of our graduates and faculty mentors. A quick reminder to our guests, as you prepare to leave the building, please be mindful of your safety and that of your party. You will be exiting onto a busy street full of traffic. Hopefully you don't make it to the street, you make it around the corner, but just keep that in mind. And to close our program, we ask everyone to join in the singing of GW's alma mater, led by Millicent Scarlett, Adjunct Professor of Music. You'll find the music and lyrics on the back page of your program. Immediately after the alma mater, the dean will lead the faculty and graduates from the auditorium. We would appreciate your kindness in remaining in your places until the conclusion of the program, when the dean, the faculty, and the graduates have exited. Now, please rise for the alma mater.